So what we're doing now, we're going to start making, progress in the Maimer, or the Akdomis and context with the previous Shurim. Not so much yesterday, but when was it? Friday. So try and listen, especially to Friday Shir. Huh? Oh, you're here Friday? Oh, good. Okay. So then they have that. You could, right? You were here Friday. All right. So let's continue now. Morning, Shmuel, or good afternoon, actually. Continue in the Oistes Vav of the Frierdiker Rebbe, where he is taking us through the whole journey of creation. So he's saying that at the outset, the Ein Sof dominated, meaning the Ein Sof, as we're explaining it here, after introducing the Avodas HaKodesh, it means the Eibishter has Yecheles in Bligvol and in Gvol equally. Nonetheless, what was Nirgash and revealed at the outset is the Koyach HaBligvol. Now, I had asked, well, why not reveal your Shleimus at the outset, Koyach HaBligvol and Gvol? And I gave an answer. And I see that the Rebbe asked that question later in his Maimer.
So we wouldn't have a Tachtim.
So I'm telling you that the Rebbe asked this question later in the Maimer. Be'ezer Hashem, the answer that the Rebbe gives will jive with what we said. Yeah. So, right. We said otherwise it's not going to be the whole kavan of the Rebbe Tachtein, which is the whole point of it all. At any rate, so but now he's describing now, let's continue the description and way that the Frierdiker Rebbe explains the Tzimtzum. Yeah. So let's look at the number 2. You see the number 2 in the text. Vatzimtzumim. This is the Frierdiker Rebbe's voice, yeah? Vatzimtzumim horak lagabeinu. No, we did this. So I'm not going to repeat it again. So the Tzimtzum is only from our perspective. What's the marshal that he gives? The marshal is what? Somebody? The Rav and the Talmud unpack the marshal. What is it?
To give the Talmud his Zayton needs to not give the whole thing. Needs to give it in a limited way, but the Rav doesn't lose any of his own Zayton or anything. So do it.
It's not only that the Rav doesn't lose his own seichel.
Fully revealed to him.
It's when he's saying that very compromised idea to the Talmud, as he's saying it, he is seeing the full seichel in the idea. That's the emphasis, that the Tzimtzum does not conceal for Hashem. Now we're up to Asher Dugma. So he gave the marshal. I pointed out yesterday that he doesn't say it here. In other places, in Chassidus, most often the marshal is of a actual marshal. The Rav invests the seichel in a marshal, which invokes something other. A Maisa with a king and a princess, a Medina, whatever the marshal might be. It's not what he's saying here. He's saying the actual seichel itself is nistamtzim. You follow? He's not using metaphors. He's just using a simplified and many tzimtzumim, a very simplified, downsized, as it were, not in quantity, but in quality, expression of the idea. That's much more difficult, actually. It's easier to give it in the marshal. Like upon both examples are brought in Chassidus. Each of these Mesholim has a Mailer. You tell me, I'm asking you a question, you're running out? What's that?
The answer will be much better once I get
Okay, so I'll wait for you. I want to see if you can answer this question. Okay, we said we shouldn't go into much eon, but the question I'm asking is, you heard what I said now, the marshal here is not the same marshal as the Rav giving a marshal. My question now is a mila in each of these mashalim. Each one brings out an Indian. The marshal here is that the seichel is dimmed. Elsewhere, the seichel is invested in something else, pashat, in a marshal. Each one brings out a mila. Okay. If you're talking about a marshal, you're bringing out Inyan Akelim. You bring out the Inyan of Keli. If you're talking about the Seichel itself becoming downsized, that is the effect on the Oir. Even though Bepnimius, the whole point is the Oir is unaffected. So Oir and Keli, that L'chaira is the difference between the two Mashalim brought by Chassidus. Okay, let's go further. So the example we gave here is the Rav that tzimtzum after tzimtzum then conveys a very simple idea that is palatable to the Talmud. So the dugma is lamaila, the klolasin tzimtzum arak legabeinu, that the tzimtzum, the concealment, is only from our perspective. Lagabi is baruch in tzimtzum master klal, but for the Eibishter, the tzimtzum does not conceal him at all. Now he adds a point here, which the Rebbe will unpack, I see, address independently. Yuvan Gamze, this is also understood that the Gamla Gabenu, we can also, not just from the Eibishter's perspective, that Tzimtzum is not concealment and doesn't remove himself, or doesn't remove the idea as he has it from the idea, the way he conveys it to the Talmud. Moreover, that's his perspective. From our perspective, it's a different world. And it's hell. No. Says the Alter Rebbe, even from our perspective, we can also see that Tzimtzum is not stam an eclipse. Why is God doing this? Why was there Tzimtzum Marish and all of the Tzimtzumim of all of the Seder Shtal Shalos? It's all because he wants to communicate with us. It's all for Gilui. The whole point of it is Gilui. So even from, in other words, Poshet, the Talmud, listen up, friends, answer my question. Hello. The Talmud, listening to the idea, what does he know? What does he appreciate? What's going on now?
Teaching himself.
He knows that Rav once is teaching to him and teaching to him on his level, and he knows also, the Talmud knows that the point is that in this idea that the Rav gives him is invested the whole idea that the Rav knows, which he will reveal one day, 40 years, etc. The whole avodah that it takes to delve into whether it's a moshel, whether it's the simplified idea. The Talmud knows that what he's getting is bishvila gilui. It's not like they're sitting in the Beis Medrash or the classroom, and the teacher speaks, and it's like, I've got something that you'll never have and never know. So here's a bone. It's not that's not that relationship in the classroom. It's not what the Talmud himself knows and appreciates. He knows he's getting something simplified. He knows that by the Rav it's much greater, but he knows that it's in here. And the reason that he's giving it this way now is because that's the only way it's going to be revealed to me, given to me. So it's all b'shvil hagilui, as opposed to what? Cutting us out, creating distance. It's not to create distance; it's to create closeness. That's why he's in the classroom. What's this big Rav doing, talking to us all together? You know, the story we told yesterday, the Zaken. Finish. He said based on Medrash that he didn't have any chavrusas because it's not on his level. But the Rav is talking to us because he wants us to know this. It's b'shvil hagilui, even from the perspective of who? Mekabel, us, yeah. It's all bishvil agil diliyos the ikadin at tzimtzum. But the whole point of the tzimtzum. Ubechdei she'iskabel kanal b'moshel. It should be received b'moshel. Maybe the b'moshel, b'moshel. So here he's saying that the Rav gives a moshel. I don't know. So he's kind of both. No. Canal b'moshel, like we said, in the moshel of the Rav giving the teacher. Sorry. The moshel is this, the Rav giving the teaching. Yeah, not a moshel. Imkein, harina tzimtzum master, even with the perspective of the Makabel, he's not sitting there feeling alienated. On the contrary, he's feeling that the Rav's love and the Rav's desire to teach him and to elevate us. Nonetheless, but the reality is, do we feel at this point, until Avodah, till we unravel it all and unpack it all and reveal the Shoresh, do we feel the Seichel as the Rav knows it in his mind? At the outset, do we feel it? Do we understand it?
Yeah.
At the outset, are we understanding the Seichel as the Rav has it?
Oh, no.
No. Kamokim in Southern Nimshel, Harayot Sof Ein Nirgish. We don't feel the Ein Sof. So the Talmud doesn't understand, get the Seichel the way it is in the mind of the Rab, which is worlds away. Furthermore, V'gam b'chinas Oir Pnimi, Shua Oir V'chayis M'chayis Kol Nimtzoyim. The end, now, so we're applying this to the Eibush. So the end is, there's so many tzimtzumim, and that it's invested the pnimius in creation, giving rise to each creation's individual, unique identity. It's so concealed. So there could be a kid in the classroom that sits there and doesn't realize that it's not story time here with the Rav. He's giving over a deep seichel. He just lost on him completely. It's possible, because what's he hearing? He's hearing a story. Once upon a time, there was a melech, and he had a nice maisa. And the makabel is not tuned in enough to realize that, well, why is this going on? He's busy telling me stories, fairy tales. No, it's a deep connection, and seichel he wants to convey. But that's possible to lose that, because it's given in such a way that it gets a life of its own, a story, a maisa. And in the nimshal, it means, let me just finish, in the nimshal it means that there's bruyim, there are creations, they don't even feel that there's a godly life force in the world. They feel life, but not godly life. So the Talmud gets a story and is oblivious that in this story is the whole seichel. Yeah, go ahead.
Other boy Shnidin, at 40 years, he gets it. That the stories that it was told to him, there's something deep.
No. That's only if he wants to get it. If he wants to get it, so then already he's saying the whole point here is that the Talmud realizes that the Rav is conveying something very deep. So 40 years later, he's going to get it. But then the tzimtzum is so much that there'll be some Talmidim that just remain with the story all their life. The 40 years is avodah. The 40 years is a recognition that this is not stam. God loves us and is communicating us in tzimtzum b'shvil hagilui. So it's the Talmud sitting in the class that understands it's not story time. And that's the end of it. It's in these stories, this great Torah. What's he doing in the classroom? He should be like the Zokan sitting on his own, because he loves us and he wants us to know. So you have to have that hergish and you have to have the avodah. But it's possible not to have that hergish, not to have that avodah, and walk away from the lesson with a nice story, and you never progress beyond there. He's oblivious to the Rav, what the Rav really is doing. That's our choice. That's our choice. What kind of student do you want to be? When is this class over? Let me get out of here. Or I'm in a classroom. What's going on here? What the teacher really wants me to know, and he loves me, and he's spending his time here. That's really our choice. As we say, yes, Baruim Ka'elo, that no. Not interested. And then let me, I'd rather be sailing. When's the class over? And he walks away with what? A maise. Vizel, come on. More detail. Everybody feels they're alive. And he knows also that who's he? This piece of flesh. He knows who's he is, his mind, his heart, his chayis. He knows when someone dies, the body is there perfectly, but the person is gone. He knows that the body itself is not really per se of any value. It's not animated by the soul, by energy, by life. It's it's putrid. The main thing is the chayis. We can walk around here, terra firma, in this world. I'm alive, but I don't feel that it's chayis aliki. Again, so the marshal would be the Talmud that just hears the story and just won't go beyond it. And then it can get so concealed. Now the marshal of the classroom doesn't even work here. It's so concealed. In marshal of the classroom, at least you know you're getting something from the teacher. Okay. But here, what?
You know there's a teacher.
Yeah. He knows there's a teacher. This world is such a place of concealment. Pare walked around and said, I am the Nile, and I made Vani Assassini. I made myself completely independent self. He's God. Or the pasuk says that don't delude yourself that I achieved all my achievements. He just ignores the teacher altogether. There's no teacher. There's no Rav. The calls him Helen Vehester said the same used to want to this is the tachten that it's so concealed. There can be such coarse minds. Because really this is our choice. Open your eyes, a little bit of intelligence. You see, there's a designer here, there's a Rav. But Hashem created the world so concealed. There can be minds that are so coarse that are just don't naturally not open to that and just don't want to go there. The kol zeh b'koycha ein sof lasa is halamas v'stedim kiyod. Oh, it comes to who's responsible for this? This is the koycha gvul. This is the koycha ein sof. Such a helim. Gewaltig geschrien. Only God can do this. Can make such a helim that we ignore him altogether. He's the creator, Yeshma Ayin, there's nothing ended Mulvada, that's the truth. He's so impossible, the Eibishter, Atzmos, that he can create a Nivra that is completely not opposing him. It means you acknowledge, but you oppose. Ignore him. I am that I am. Pari said, I am that I am, which is the counter of the I am that I am. But that's only Mekoyach Atzmos. That's the whole point of the Rebbe's Maimer. The Oitzer is this Helem or here, this Helem, this concealment. That's the Oitzer. That's the Maila Adin Katz. That we have the Koyach in the Helem to reveal Atzmos. You follow that? That's the whole Oitzer. Let's continue. Important line. The calls of a koyecha ain't soft. That's the koyecha bligvul. That's the shlimusa de kulam that the Avodah Sakedesh is pointing out. That the Eibusha can make lases halamas v'stedim ka'elam. And just to unpack that a little bit. This Alter says in Tanya. This all Shara Yichud Vemlun. Alter Tanya says that just like this needs to be appreciated, friends. It's zero in it. Just like the koyecha, the chesed, and Gemara speaks about Godel and Gibber. Yeah. So just like the creation is beyond understanding, we cannot imagine creation because you can't even get at the starting point. You can't imagine nothing. It's an inherent contradiction. The word nothing is not also. It's saying no thing. You understand? It can't be. We can't even begin to describe Yeshua. Create from nothing. Says the Alter Rebbe that just like the koyach to create is totally beyond seichel, the koyach hatzimtzum zavay olikim is also beyond seichel. Why? So push it. I can hide from you. I'm gonna use this, but I take this, and you don't see me. Why? This is not me. This is not you. It's something else. Gets in between. But the Abish ain't that Mavadik. What are you hiding behind? There's nothing. It's all you.
tzimtzum.
The tzimtzum is you. How could the tzimtzum be mine? Like in halacha. In halacha, you can't. You have to have a head covered when you daven. You can't put your hand on your head. Or I cover my head from you, but not from me. I'm not objectively covered because this is me. Has to be something else. But there's nothing else for the Eibishter. So how is this possible? This is the Keich HaGvul, which is in Ein Sof, which is just as impossible for us to understand as infinite is. Keich HaBli. Is that clear, friends? David, yeah. I just want to tell you, that's why the Alter Rebbe ends Perek Gimel in Sheikh Emunah with this shaila. Why don't we feel bottle? How can we not feel bottle? Because God's constantly creating us, Eshma'ayin. And I'm unraveling the question, what can you hide behind? Now, Rebbe ends the kasha with Perek Gimel with this shaila. So the Chassidim say, they say, they have a question. How could he end the Perek with a question? The Chassidim say, maybe some of the Rabbi, you shouldn't learn philosophy at night. Because why? Because you might fall asleep with a question, and the whole night, how could there be kashas of the Eibush? You don't want that to seep a whole night. So don't learn at night, learn by day. If you're going to learn, you'll have the answer. Right? So Hidal Rebbe ends Tanya with Perek Gimel, and then usually you finish Perek Gimel, tomorrow learn Perek Dal. He leaves such a question. So I said to him, that's a very good question to how you talk we don't feel bottled. That's a wonderful question that you don't have an answer, because there isn't an answer. It's only because of Keich HaAtzmos. And a whole night, Givald, why don't we feel bottled to the Eibishter? Why do we feel independent? Very healthy question that we should constantly be asking and be in awe and amazement of. That's only Keich HaAtzmos. Because the emphasis we are bottled and Altizer. All is the consequence of him. Yeah, weiter, let's finish those. The figure continues. So this is all because, again, that line that the cause of Bekeich in Sof lases halomis v'asteidim kahilu. Only the Eibishter can conceal himself like this. The Hashem just like just like the reach of the Eid in Sof to create, the power of creation, in other words, is Bekeich in Sof to create Yeshmayin and to create such finite entities, Gewalt. And the Eid in Sof is present, all of the Ein Tachlis properties, this Rabbi will address later, and we did already, which we spoke about. So just like that's Bekeich Ein Sof, in other words, the creative power, the Bligvul, that is the Lamata Mata Ein Tachlis, in the Kemoik and the Bekeich Ein Sof, Amaylim Umashti, Beribo Elamas Vestadium, that he can conceal himself. That's also in the Bekeich Atzmos, and only God can do that. Both expression of him to create and to hide himself are both equally divine. And only Bekeich HaAtzmos, only he can create Yesh Ma'ayin, and only Eibishter can create a sense of independence when there's nothing outside of him that we could hide behind. Clear? And it continues. That's what it says in Pasuk. Ochin Atar, indeed you kill mistater. You're a God that conceals. And Ochin Atar, this the Pasuk, David the Melech is saying this like in astonishment and in awe of this. That's why the Nigim, which we sing it, expresses that. There's many levels to that song. It's first of all saying, in the Hester is you, don't give up. But it's also saying that we can design a hell of a Hester because of you, because of Keich HaAtzmos. Lo pashut. As he goes on to say, only you, Atzmos, can create a reality that doesn't feel the truth that is impossible that it shouldn't. The Hashem shechesed keil kol hayom, just like the union of Kale of the Giloi, and it's the simple translation. The kindness of the Eibishter is all day. What does this mean by Pnimius? It's a posik. Tilim. The Yoim of Bechinas Giloi, Yoim, day means revelation. The Kamosha Giloi Chesed V'Shem Kel, just like Giloi is an expression of Hashem's Chesed, and Hashem's Kel is infinite power. So this is saying the same praise, but not about Yekecha Bligvul, Yekecha Gvul. It's only you. Only you can create Yesh Ma'ayim, and it's Kol HaYoyim, and you're invested in this tremendous Giloi. And this is all Arichas in the previous Parakim that we see the Bligvulness even in creation. We need your Father here to help us about the creation. There's no number. There is no number. You cannot say a number of the molecules and subatomic particles in the universe. Mistama, you couldn't say a number even in anything. You just got to say infinite. You just stop saying numbers. So you see the result of the Kecha Bligvul in creation and all the other dimensions. So just like that is Bligvul, Achinata Kel Mistat, Ata Kel Mistat. That you can create and you're the only reality and we shouldn't feel you, it's also a Kecha Atzmus. And then it's a bigger Chiddush for us, that where you're concealed, you're there, and it's all you, for our perception. That's the whole Dida B'Tachton. That's the whole Kavan. And then we were Megalit in the Tachton, then we're Megalit in the alien. The alien is all you. And nothing more. As opposed to what? As opposed to virtue. We'll talk about it more later in the mind. As opposed to virtue. As opposed to Maila and Mata. No Maila, no Mata. There is. But the Maila Mata is all you. But till then we had a Maila and a Mata. That's closer, further. No closer, no further, all you. We transform not just this world, but all Seidish Talshalus, including the Ein Sof. Because till our Avodah Ein Sof was saying, Eibishter is found here. This is where God's revealed. To the exclusion of you. That's what the Ein Sof Kecha Bligvul says. You're Ein Ve'efes, valueless. Gvul. Now Ein Sof gets a big lesson, as it were. I'm speaking like in comic terms. That no, your whole mile is, because that's what Eibishter decided. There's no virtue to grandness, to infinite. There's no virtue to anything. It's only because you chose to reveal yourself. And you reveal yourself in Keich HaGvul, the same in Keich HaGvul. So Keich HaGvul is the big teacher in the end. Transforms Keich HaBligvul. You follow that? More on the Maimah later. Let's finish the ice. Feeling the pressure, guys, you want to get cover ground next. Turn the pages. And this is what he's saying in Sefer Yetzirah. He uses the same language, the depth of the height and the depth of the depth of the low. It's all you. Now the oimek tachas here means the reach, the opposite that we think. It means the reach. That's the spashtus oimek tachas, right? Because the matamada in tachlis means the gilui of the Ein Sof. So that's what oimek tachas means here. We wouldn't think this without the Maimah. We touch it oppositely. So Keshem shoymek tachas shu agil, which I just did, I think. Shu agil of ispashtus amadreges hayesachreins. Just like you extend and express yourself in the lowest levels, creating Elam Hazard, as we said before, and you can see the bligvulness even in your creation of Elam Hazard. That was Eishud Gimel, Eishud Dalet. You can make it Eimik Roim. Eimik Roim here touches here again. This is the Malmadin Katz. That's the Helam, the Keich HaGvul. You can hide and hide and hide and hide. Well, B'Keich Ein Sof Dafke. That too is B'Keich HaAtzmos. And again, it's more novel from our perception. The Rak B'Keich Ein Sof, only the Eibishter is able to do the impossible. La Hailim or La Hastim B'Ribei Mini. Allah says it's all Him. So again, what are you hiding behind? That's the Nekuda. Nothing to hide behind. the teacher and the Talmud, the independent people, and the marshal is the third thing that he's teaching. So in the marshal, it works. But the Eibishter, it's all him. Hide behind what? It's no metzius other than the consequence of your will that it be. So this is a little bit sof lahayin, but has to be many alamas vestadium. This is the Eibishter's keicha atzmos. Keicha gvul, which is all you, which produces this alamas vestadium. It's all ata, achin, ata kel mistater. And that's the oitzer. Zeo oirin sof lamayr adin ketz. That's the oitzer given to every yid. That in our lamas vestadium to reveal ata here and then transform even, as you said, all ishtarshalas. Okay, now we'll continue Beit Hashem tomorrow, the Rebbe's beer.